Mojo, come here.
Come here. Don't even start.
Mojo.
Come here. Come here now. Don't even start.
Mojo.
Come here. Come here now. See who that was?
It's Christian. He's calling me now.
Okay,
I'm not
good.
going to answer either.
Well, I think we might have to answer because that's the only way
Hello?
to put him on.
Why is he not answering the phone?
He had to put the dogs away.
I think we might have to answer because that's the only way
Hello?
to put him on.
Why is he not answering the phone?
He had to put the dogs away. They were
Okay. How many followers do you have on the Hex account?
Who cares?
Well, I think you have to have 1,000 to go on somebody's live.
Oh, I do.
Okay. Well, hit me up.
I don't understand the ban. I don't see a ban.
Well, maybe you don't have it. Usually, if it's your first offense, it's a couple hours. So.
Ryan? Can you use your headphones? Oh, you're working out. Oh, I gotta go on a live. Well, whatever. It's too hot out there. I can't go out there. All right, are you there?
Yeah.
So, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what the fuck. I don't see the. Come on. Well, let me know. Will you text me a link when you go live so I can post it?
I just posted a link on my Facebook page.
Okay, then I'll share that. All right, bye.
Okay. So. I really don't know where we left off right there. I guess he's going to try with the Hex page. I don't know. Well, Uncle Birch and Aunt Marta coming to you live from New Orleans. We're trying to get Christian on
I'm just an observer.
the show.
I'm just sitting out here because I live here too.
Yeah, observe. Sarah, how are you? April, how are you? April Dismay, how are you? Nikki, hey. Hi. Georgian Super something. Well, good to see y'all. Well, we're trying to get Christian Day on. I don't know, he's going to join with one of his accounts. Maybe I got to look for it. So let's see. Christian Day. Don't see that. Don't see Hexfest.
There are flies fornicating on my glass.
They're fornicating, dude.
Yes. I don't want to say the other F word because I don't know how strict they are.
Yeah.
But I'm sure fornication is allowed.
Yeah. Probably. Hold on. God damn it. Probably. Hold on. God damn it. Vendors and the funniest show was the first show, which wasn't a show, which was just Christian.
Was it like bloopers?
He was just trying to get it to work and holler, Brian, Brian, and calling people. And he was just,
it recorded.
It just kept rolling, and it was the technical difficulty show, and it was so funny because he's just like gets so whiny and so bitchy, and he's yelling at his equipment, and I think he called me at one point. Yeah, I think he even asked me like come over and see if I could fix it, and then I agreed to do that, and then somebody else agreed to do that. It was entertaining as hell. So getting Christian on shouldn't be that hard because we had him yesterday. We just have to find his account. I see all the regular cast of characters. We won't be randomly bringing people on. I caught Christian off guard. He wasn't ready for that. It's like, normally, if you tune in and I say, okay, I'm bringing so up in the box, you know what that means, but he doesn't.
He doesn't spend a whole lot of time on it.
He did not know that he was going to be immediately, like, assaulted. So, Mia Moon, how are you? Yeah, I figured Well, I figured you'd tune in because I heard you screen recorded and shared the video from yesterday. I think that was you, or it was Mystic Miami. I don't know. I confuse you two sometimes. Um,
All these M words.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, um, I sent him the link in a text message saying, I am not seeing Christian Day in the list of people that I can invite. Um, I was wondering about that because yesterday, he got kicked by TikTok and
Oh,
asking me for an email verification code. They only gave me 60 seconds.
that is. I hate
I hate that shit.
hate when they do it through
Mm-hmm.
email. It's like, do it on my phone. I've got
Yeah.
my phone in my hand. I'm gonna get the code immediately.
And it's
The
like,
email, it's like you gotta go on your email, and then it never shows up immediately. And then by the time it shows up, you forgot what the fuck you were doing in the first place.
absolutely. If you're on TikTok, well, you have to go, oh, fuck. Which email goes with which account?
No, that too.
I got Uncle Birch
But
9.
why
That
can't
means
they
I've had
just
to have
do
9
text?
email
Yeah.
accounts. No, Nikki does not care for me, but she did not deserve what was said to her. Well, I don't know what went on. I thought I had a moderator, and hope I should probably have a moderator today. But word is that a lot of stuff went on in the comments before that happened. And I believe when you attack somebody, you don't get to bitch about their counterattack. And when I let Nikki on screen, it was immediate attack, and I know how Christian reacts to attacks. And in defense, sometimes you go overboard. Okay, Hex Old World Witchery is following me, so that means hopefully they're in here. Oh, they followed the live. Come on, Hex. Where is it? Okay, now what do I gotta do? Do I gotta follow you? Okay, I'm following you back. You got 10,000 followers, you bitch. How'd you do that? You don't do shit. Oh, maybe on Hex you do stuff, but I never see anything on your account. Okay, now how the hell am I supposed to invite you in? Yeah, I don't. You certainly have enough followers. But I'm not seeing you on the list. There's a little guest request thing down over here. If you hit that and ask to be on the show, maybe that'll help me out. I'm trying to invite you on. Let's see. Wait, guests? Oh, invitation sent. Oh, now I fix the boxes because please have a bunch of little boxes.
I want to be the only box.
No,
You
not.
can
I'm the
be.
only box.
You can be a box.
All right, I don't see you, but I see your logo.
Yeah.
Hello.
No, I can't seem to. Oh, there we go.
Hi. Welcome back to the
Hi.
show.
I got some tea to spill.
Oh, really?
Well, first I want to apologize. I didn't understand the platform of this, and as I tried to explain yesterday, there's a reason Beyonce doesn't get in the comments with all. There are 25 million QAnon followers in America, all of whom believe that Beyonce drinks baby blood, and so does Oprah and Hillary and all of that. And if you were to airdrop Beyonce into a giant field of those 25 million people, it wouldn't make Beyonce a baby eating follower of the Illuminati. Truth is not a numbers game. If you airdropped me into a Christian megachurch of 15,000 people that believe that dinosaurs became extinct from the earth because they couldn't fit on Noah's Ark, that would not make it true. So, I don't play truth as a numbers game. I play truth as the truth. Um, and, you know, I, because I'm a public figure, you can't, and this is not to insult your audience. It's to say that, I'm your close friend. I'm not the audience. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk on the phone, we go to dinner. I'm not these people that just hang on in the audience. So, I don't want to be blindsided. That was my only issue, was that suddenly I have this person like coming at my face that was just attacking my friend in the comments. And yes, she can lie about it, but I went back and I read the comments, and you will not convince me that this person didn't go out of her way to define botanical racism as a way of undermining Rachel. And you yourself told me on the phone today that Nikki had an issue with Rachel. So now I may not be a mind reader, but I am a psychic, and I did zero in on that. And the other person, I believe it was Yaya, was basically trying to make Rachel look like the bad guy because what do you call it? She apparently apologized. She might have apologized for one piece of this. I still haven't heard back from her, but she has never felt what that woman with the 4 million followers that weaponized racism against her when it wasn't there
Well,
was correct. Like she never
well,
felt.
and beyond that, when that charge was levied on the Spirit Witch, people referred to her as a confirmed racist after that, and there has been no confirmation. Nobody,
Well,
I don't agree with your
well,
terms.
here's the other thing.
Keep people from
You got to learn.
poisoning
Nikki's on here
racism.
talking about connecting the dots. Well, let me connect some dots. So when I went and looked at the people that were talking about this on TikTok and YouTube, or I went and looked at who was engaging, they all had past videos attacking Spirit Witch.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Now, for my take, Spirit Witch has tried to keep somebody from poisoning themselves with deadly nightshade.
well, this is my point. Even if she got the version of Nightshade wrong, and this was what I was trying to explain to Nikki that I think she was not understanding. Because I'm convinced, like I said, I went to her profile. She ticks all the boxes. She probably was not of voting age.
Oh,
What you doing?
he's
You
muted.
muted yourself.
He's pressing some buttons.
Can I unmute you? Uh-oh. What
She
happened?
is so much fun. No, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Gotcha.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. You have to meet. We have got to go in and meet the Voodoo Bone Lady. She is like super fun. Oh my God. She has a shop on Royal Street. So anyway, when I went to her, look, you might be offended, Nikki, that you tick all the boxes. It's not my fault. But you are literally the average person that libs of TikTok makes fun of every day on YouTube. And the problem with that isn't the insult. It's that this is why we're going to have Trump. And I hated to have to gloat over that in 2016. And I didn't gloat over it kindly, quite frankly. I haven't gotten over Nader. That probably happened before Nikki was alive. I haven't gotten over that. And that was 24 years ago. And as I explained in 2000, in May 18th, 2016, Trump promised to nominate from a list of 11 justices that were vetted by the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society. The Bernie or bust crowd that said Hillary wasn't liberal enough, excuse me, they said that Hillary would have given us the same court. Here's the problem with that. If you're as old as we are, I mean, you both remember
Yep.
when Hillary was the devil, the Federalist Society and the Heritage Foundation wouldn't let Hillary Clinton through the front door. They certainly wouldn't be giving her lists of judicial nominees. So, yes, I despise the Trump voters for bringing us Trump. But here's the difference. The Trump voters believed that abortion is murder. They believed that gays shouldn't be able to get married. They believed these things, and they voted for their beliefs.
Well, I gotta interject here because I've heard this for the last time, and I'm going to tolerate this. Biden does not support genocide. We have a military alliance with Israel that cannot be altered by Biden. He needs Congress to alter any military alliance. So, like when Trump says he's going to come in and take us out of NATO,
I get it, but you're literally cutting
not,
right into the middle of my.
he's not going to take us out of NATO unless
I know, but
we
you're
have
cutting right into the middle of my most important point.
the House and the Senate. But that's, you got to
But
watch
you,
your comments sometimes.
I am. Well, you didn't yesterday. Um,
I'm trying to today. Okay.
so, anyway, well, if Nikki supported Hillary, great, kudos for you. But my point doesn't really change. My point is that the Trumpies voted. Please let me make this point without cutting me into shreds, Michael, because it really does make it difficult if I have to make it in bits and pieces. But anyway, I don't agree with the Trump voter. I haven't spoken to my half brother and my half sister since 2016. One called General Lee a hero, and the other compared slavery to Irish indentured servitude. And both of those things were enough, along with their Trump support, for me not to want to speak to them for the last 8 years. But here's the rub. The Trump people voted for what they actually believed. The Bernie or Busters knew that these rights mattered, that abortion rights mattered, that gay rights mattered. They knew that trans rights mattered, and they threw all of them away. And now I see, Nikki, please don't cut me. If you're trying to cut, please, I'll just hang up because I need to make this point. So, okay, great, Nikki. So you voted for Hillary, but now you're saying you're not going to support Biden. You're doing the same thing to gay marriage and trans rights, which have managed to survive the high courts thus far, that the Bernie or Busters did in 2016. You know that these rights matter, and you're willing to give this to Trump. I'm not going to get into the whole, I have very nuanced positions on Israel. I don't like either side entirely. I have many reasons, but, I've studied that region for 35 years, but that's neither here nor there. First of all, I don't believe that it is a genocide to begin with, because a genocide, and I will say this side little note, when Hitler began his genocide on the Jews, where even Treblinka alone, they were able to gas 20,000 Jewish people a day, which way outpaces anything here. But they started in Germany. In Israel, 26% of the population are Arabs. And a genocide means they're trying to get rid of, from what I can see, they want to get rid of Hamas however they have to. Now, do I think it's a war crime? Yes. I don't think it's a genocide. I think it's a war crime in the same way that Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Dresden, those were war crimes. You never see people criticize those. But they were also, I believe, war crimes. But I don't think any of those things were genocide unless you take an otherwise very crazy Cornel West, when he did make a great comment on Piers Morgan that said, well, in some level, all war is genocide. But here's the thing. If we don't support Biden in 2024, we are going to have Trump. And if you thought Roe going away was bad, you just wait to see what happens to trans and gay rights. So anybody can snip a comment. I love how that Amarella Moon just, for 10 years, this crazy woman has been stalking me. And, maybe if she focused on her own life, she could afford to hire a plumber and would not have to crawl under her tract house to fix the pipes. But, these are the mysteries. But the thing is, she can clip any comment I say out of context, but let me explain it for the cheap seats. When I say I don't care if you suffer from a back alley abortion, if you're one of these third party Bernie or busters, oh, it's absolutely mean spirited. But it is quite the opposite of misogynist, because I'm saying it in defense of all of the women whose rights those men and women and non binary people alike who refused to support Hillary in 2016 with their Bernie or bust threw the rights away of. So maybe you think that was a really mean spirited way of saying it, and you'd be right. But it's not something I'm sorry for. If I say something I'm sorry for, like there was something I said to Amarella Moon years ago, I apologize for because it was wrong. When you don't see me say I'm sorry, it means I don't think I was wrong. Now, as far as the R word, well, I apologize for the fact that it might have affected your TikTok. I had no idea because I only really use this platform for occasional little snarky snippets, and I got really bored with it very fast because they're constantly trying to, isolate and, put people, about what you can say and, constantly censor you. And I'm too, Howard Stern of witchcraft to deal with that. So there are what do you call it? Things that I say that are not everybody's cup of tea. I'll probably always use the R word. Some things I say are offensive. It is what it is. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but thankfully there's coffee. As I said to my husband in the pool, there are a million reasons not to like me. No one has to make anything up. And Amanda has been collating made-up stories for the last decade now. The most favorite one I have, which I have multiple witnesses and screen captures too, is that a year ago in February, this Amarella Moon person attacked me for allegedly calling ICE, Immigration Services, on Elohim Lifar, who's a Latino author, who now knows I did not do so. Elohim and I had a fight a few years ago because he was defending Sen Elias, who took credit for my best friend Sen Louise's death. And I thought that was horrible, among other things. He was defending other people that had been horrible to my family, which I didn't like. I'm very protective of my family. And I had made a nasty comment. I said, one more comment from you, I'm going to call. What have I said that is harassment?
I have no idea.
It's TikTok. Who knows?
I mean, you're talking about somebody. Just don't name them. Yes.
Okay. You're probably just flagging, I don't know. But anyway, I did not call them. I made a THREAT too. I don't even know what I can say on this platform. And, it's sort of like the difference between telling your mother, I hope you not alive or whatever, versus actually going up and making it happen. Is that a way to say it?
Yeah, you got to.
Anyway.
You got to say
Anyway,
live.
I am not made for this platform. I'm just not. So
look,
and again, hold on. I will say to Nikki, if you voted for Hillary, then I'm sorry for that. However, I think if you're voting for Biden, you're doing the same thing. Someone in the comments said I was part of the Bernie Revolution. I didn't know all the information. I know a lot of people came into this, and I try to be forgiving. I do. I do have some Bernie or Buster friends. I do. But it was hard because I know that it's a matter of time before my marriage is no longer legal because of Bernie or Bust. And it does upset me. So, I apologize to Nikki if I got that wrong. But what I don't apologize for is I do think that she, whatever, they tick all the boxes. I do think that there is this. I talk to so many different kinds of people in my line of work. And I get that the left thinks, they can cancel anyone and everyone. But the problem is those people still have a vote. I supported when Disney fired Gina Carano. I supported that. for comparing vaccines to, a certain event in the 1940s that I'm afraid to say the name of.
Good.
And
You're learning. You're learning. Very good.
and
Very
so anyway, I supported that firing. But she has more power as a pundit for the Daily Wire than she ever had at Disney. And Roseanne, I supported Roseanne getting fired for what she said about Valerie Jarrett. But she's got more power now. Like, they would have been smarter not firing her and maybe saying, Roseanne, every time you say a tweet we don't like, we're taking $100,000 out of your money. Something like that.
Yeah.
Now Roseanne's got more power over the narrative of crazy people than she ever had before. So, is the left really effective with all this cancel culture crap? I would argue no. Because here's the thing, you might ostracize these people, but they still have a vote.
Mm-hmm.
And when we end up with Trump, and I believe we are, I have no doubt in my mind he will be there. It's going to be because of this sort of thing. And I'm going to gloat again like I did in 2016, but it's going to be a very, very bittersweet gloat. Now, I had more money when Trump was president. I certainly get benefits out of this. I despise the man, but, I did have more money. But, like I said to my husband, do I want to be, gleefully married to him and living in a trailer park, or have my marriage not be legitimate and, have this lovely pool outside? Sometimes I ask myself these questions. But no, I despise the man and I don't want him to be president. And so when I see people like Nikki or whoever else, with I can't support Biden, fine. But we live in a system that is a two-party system. We live in a two-party system, period. I studied politics at Brandeis, one of the most prestigious political universities in the world. We have a two-party system. That's how it works. We are so many decades away from a multi-party system, if ever, that there is no opportunity. You either vote for one or the other, or your vote doesn't matter. And, that's just the way it is. I don't make the rules. I'm a very cut and dry person. But, I wanted to get back to the ICE thing. So anyway, I have multiple witnesses and screen captures to not only prove but demonstrate, and we're not going to name names here, Mr. Birch. Uncle Birch.
I'm under a gag order.
But
A gag.
what I am going to say is that Amarella Moon put this whole thing out there about how I called ICE on the Latino author. And now she's 1,000% standing behind the person who actually called ICE on this Latino author.
That's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that called ICE on the Latino author is out there calling me a racist for making a simple joke about, I think I said, and I didn't know he had any indigenous, but I made a crack and I said, you better be at a powwow the way you're ignoring me. It was an off-color joke. But, first of all, no, Utu has known him for 31 years, and he's never claimed that he was indigenous. This is suddenly, he's on Ancestry.com, says he's indigenous. This is ridiculous. But I got a man that called ICE on a Latino author, calling me a racist. And I got Amarella Moon, who attacked me publicly for calling ICE on a Latino author, who's now actually standing behind the person who called ICE on a Latino author. Okay, this is the irony that I deal with.
I got to interject here. So this is what I'm always on about, people. Wrong is wrong, right is right. It doesn't matter if it's on your enemy or not. We got me and Moon in here. Me with back forth button heads for ever so long, but when somebody did something wrong to her, I called it, whether I like her or not. I wouldn't consider her an enemy, but it's somebody that we definitely did not get along. But what somebody was doing to her on TikTok out here was fucked up, and I called it. And I will call it on an enemy. I'll call it on a friend. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. I won't use a lie to attack an enemy.
No, but this is why you and I get, because I'm the same way. Lori Cabot and I had lost touch in '97, but when that Janet Andrews accused her of waving a gun, and she then contrived two violations of that restraining order, so they put poor Lori in handcuffs at 65. I dug up all this information that Janet Andrews was working with the born again Christians. I called up Lori Bruno. I said, "You're going to have egg on your face with this one." I said, So next thing you know, we're all in court. Janet drops the case. Basically, I saved Cabot from this thing because Janet got up and dropped the case because she knew that Lori Cabot's lawyer was going to bring up all the proof she was working with these right-wing Christians. Now, look, I will always give credit where credit is due. We know that I don't get along with Lori Bruno. She made up, the restraining order she got on me 10 years ago for calling her in the middle of the night, which I never did. There's no proof. She gave no proof. A year later, when I had it thrown out, I gave proof that I pretty much couldn't have done it. But here's the thing. I will give her this. When Lorelei called her to save Buster Brown, I don't know if you remember, Lorelei was posting all that stuff about that poor dog. And the chief of police took the dog out of the kennel, wouldn't let Lorelei see him, and had slated it for death. Well, Lori Bruno had the connections to save that dog, and she went in and saved that dog. So you know something? She may be high on a list of people I don't like. But I will say, she went and saved Buster Brown. I'm going to say a good thing about her. Yeah. And if I saw Lori Bruno being bullied by someone, and I felt it was wrong, I'd be the first person to stand there. Because I believe that the truth must rise above all. And that justice must rise above all. And I get why Amanda was mad at me for, wishing rape on her 10 years ago. I get all that.
You say grape.
Rape.
Rape. Yeah. An essay.
Grape jelly. How do you deal with this?
It's a whole new vocabulary.
No.
Wait, and you got to say pew-pews. You can't say the G word.
G-U-N.
Yeah, you can't say the G word. You got to say pew-pew. We sound like kindergartners, but that's what China's doing to us. So
I can't wait for, if there's any reason I'm going to vote for Biden, it's because they're going to shut this thing down. But anyway, I digress. So, okay, where was I? So here's the thing. So for 10 years, Amarillo has been backing all these fake stories like, I made this woman come to a party celebrating her husband's, demise. Like all these fake stories that weren't true because she wanted to. Where did Michael go?
He went to check on the dogs real quick. I'm listening.
Anyway,
yeah.
What was I just saying? It just totally threw off my train of thought.
Well, we were talking about how even people you don't like, if they do the right thing.
No, it was what I was just saying, and I don't remember.
I was distracted too.
Well, because he walked away. I'm like, what? Who does that in an interview? Oh, yeah. So Amanda has jumped on all these false stories. So about 2011, I think it was, a friend of mine named Eric led this crusade against me with all these false stories. And he actually tried to take a restraining order out and didn't get one. And some months later, he comes to me and he's crying and he's asking for my forgiveness, and I forgave him. And he said, God, Christian, is there no unforgivable sin with you? And I said, very, very few. Very few. And so he says to me, do you want to know why I made up all these things about you? And I said, well, yeah, tell me, though I already knew. I always know. And he said, well, all these people came to me with such horrible stories that I felt that they needed justice. And so I made all these things up so that, they would get justice. And I'm starting to smirk because I already know what's coming. And he says, but then I realized they were all lying too. So, yeah, there's some things I've done. I made this rape comment. Grape ape, spape comment to Amarillo Moon, and I apologized for it. I still insist I did. Well, first of all, it's not doxing, but, I was reporting a bunch of people's fake Facebook's account. They were reporting, my enemies were reporting a bunch of our Facebook. We're going back and forth. I didn't do hers. I know I said I did in a rage because I was just talking about the whole thing, but I didn't actually do it. That's neither here nor there. Even if I had done it, and nothing in retrospect, I wish I had, because I thought she was a friend and she was obviously an enemy. So as an enemy, I wish I had reported her fake Facebook account. But here's the thing, that's not doxing. If I report your fake Facebook account and you get a notice saying you have to put in your real name or your Facebook account gets deactivated and you put in your real name, you're doxing yourself. And any argument to the contrary is accompanied by a word I'm not allowed to say on here, but it begins with R. So the thing is, like, hello, that's not talking. Was I sorry for what I said to her? Yeah. Am I sorry for all these other things I didn't do? No. I mean, have I said some nasty things other than that? Of course I have. Am I sorry for them? No. If you deserved it, I'm not sorry. I'm not nice. My friend Penny Cabot, that's Lori's daughter, somebody called her, goes, Christian said this and this to me, and Penny, he's not very nice. And Penny's like, whoever said he was nice? There's a line from the musical Into the Woods, said by the witch. I have no voice, so I don't know if I'm going to sing it, but you're so nice. You're not good, you're not bad, you're just nice. I'm not good, I'm not nice, I'm just right. You're the witch, I'm the witch, you're the world. Basically,
Well,
here's me in a nutshell. I'm not good, I'm not nice, I'm just right.
a thing that my viewers, I've got a lot of new followers, so in case you haven't caught up with this, I don't believe in the majority of the bullshit that you guys spew out here when it comes to attacking each other. Okay, so like what Christian did, people said, he went way too overboard. I don't agree. He got attacked. You don't get to dictate the response of somebody after you attack them. When I burn your crops and salt your soil so nothing ever grows again, you don't get to bitch about it. Don't kick the fucking hornet's nest, man. Don't.
Even Raven Grimassi said to me once, you never draw first blood, Christian. I replied, but I always draw more.
You always draw last blood.
Heartily concur with that.
Matter of fact, that woman you were talking about earlier that we're not going to mention her name, it's like, I thought you finished her off a long time ago, man. It's like still kicking out there somewhere.
Well, no, there's no finishing someone like that off. I live rent-free in her head every day. I'm literally her greatest obsession. Which sort of amuses me because, I'm just like, here, let me go over to, I know it's a little messy out there. Hold on, this is the lovely, wait, hold on. Can you see, look at that beautiful pool.
It's lovely. Why do you not have bird shit all over your umbrella? What?
I don't.
I was just wondering.
Because he doesn't have trees above his.
Enclosed.
Ours like
so look at that beautiful pool. And you should see the bathtub up in Salem where I have a full-on steam shower, and it has these tanks that you push a button and it pumps essential oils into the steam. My husband, I said, you got to see the closet with the steam tank or the little oil tanks, and he said, Christian, some of the richest people in the world don't have this. While she's underneath her tract house, somewhere in some ramshackle, tumbleweed-infested area of Roswell, New Mexico, crawling under her house with a wrench and sewage pouring into her face, and she's trying to fix her pipes. So what is it that I should or could do? What did you say? No, how did you say you thought I'd finished? Like, how do you finish that? What is there for me to do that life has not already accomplished?
I think right there, living well is the best begin.
What am I going to do to her? She can't afford a plumber. We got somebody coming tomorrow to fix our dishwasher. I didn't even bother to look and see if it was under warranty. We're just going to pay something.
You think they're coming? We'll see. It's New Orleans, man. They might show up.
I'm just saying. At the end of the day, I own 2 houses, 4 stores, a walking tour company, a psychic hotline, a publishing company. What am I missing? An online festival, an in-person festival. There's also the big thing in Salem, but that's 2 festivals because that one includes the Witches Ball and a 31-day psychic fair, and she can't afford a plumber. So am I going to sit here and worry about, like, literally, I'm glad I can be her entertainment because at the end of the day, that's what I am. I'm not her foil, nor is she mine. I am her entertainment. I'm the thing she sits in bed at night when her boyfriend isn't doing the job. I'm the one she's thinking about with her 2 fingers.
Oh,
Did I say a word I can't say?
no, no, that was great.
Did I word it just the right
You worded
way?
it. You worded it enough to get past the community standards, I think.
The champagne is burned. Um,
Salem is a great store. I haven't been to that one. I've been to the New Orleans one, but
the champagne is burned. No, actually, Penny, the bathroom is not fully done because the things need to be stained, and I'm replacing. I didn't like the speakers that came stock with the MTI $15,000 bathtub. They were these 20-watt transducers that sit on the side of the inside of the shell of the tub and turn the entire bathtub into a single speaker. And it wasn't very powerful. So what they were 40-watt speakers or little transducers, and I had to open up the tiles, and this is in these like first world problems. And yes, the caviar was mushy. Look, what am I going to do? What am I going to do to somebody like Amarillo Moon other than be somewhat entertained that I have someone that loves me so much? I mean, here's the thing. They come along every year with one of these crusades, and they think that this is the one that's going to be the nail in the coffin. And every year they get some champion to rely on. In 2007, it was Sharon and her raccoons. Google that. Salem Sharon raccoons. That's a fun story. I remember when I first started seeing my shrink. I went in, I'm telling my psychologist all the things, Hi, Tracy. And I was telling her all the things. I come in the next week and she says, Christian, can I ask you something? I tell you something. I hope you're okay, but I Googled you. And I'm smirking. And I said, oh, why? And again, I knew it was coming. Well, Christian, you were talking about these, raccoons left on the doorsteps of stores and mobsters and angry clown rights organizations and all the things you deal with. And I thought, that you must be suffering from delusions. And so I Googled it, and then and I'm smirking, and she said, but it was all true. Look, I can't make this up. I can't write my life. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, ultimately, if it sounds harsh to me that I sort of pictured these Bernie or Busters, in the back alleys with their wire hangers, oh, it's absolutely horrific. In fact, I was going to do coat hanger spell kits at Hex at a discount for the Bernie or Busters after the 2016 elections. Not because I'm misogynistic, quite the opposite, because I'm very angry that these people on the far left so trivially threw out 5 decades of women's rights. Shame on you.
I
Shame on
will
you.
never vote third party. I haven't, and I won't ever.
You want what?
I said I will never vote third party. I haven't done it in the past, and I won't. I totally agree with you.
So look, if I sound insensitive or outright nasty, well,
You're right.
I am.
Yeah, you're right.
I never said I was nice.
yeah, at the end,
I just said I would tell you the truth.
at the end of the day, the worst thing Christian Day ever did to anybody is say something not nice. That's it.
But it's accurate.
It's accurate. He's not like, stalking people and doxing people and, a lot of the shit you guys engage in out here on TikTok, hexing people right and left. He's a cunt. He's a cunt. If you
Can
give
you
him
say
credit,
that
he's going
word?
to be a cunt. If you're not, you know what? If
Can you
you,
say that word?
I'm
The
not
C
sure.
word.
He's a see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Um, but, you know,
Oh no, listen. Oh no, you got to hear this. So I've got an issue going on that basically in Massachusetts and in California they have these things called the ABC test of determining whether someone should be a W-2 or a contractor. And even though every psychic in the universe is 1099, in certain states they are supposed to be W-2'd, including Massachusetts, so we've switched over. But there was somebody that thought we owed us or a lot more money than we do. And so, we're having to give all our depositions and all this. And I'm getting this deposition and I'm being asked, did you call this person the C word? And I said, well, yeah, kind of, yeah, I did. And then they said, well, don't you? I said, well, you can understand. I don't call anyone that word more than I do myself. And my husband's number two. I said, I call everybody that word. At my 40th birthday party, my friends John and Angela said on the microphone, you're nobody in this town until Christian Day calls you the C word. This is up in Salem. So they asked everybody to come up who I ever said it to. And I swear 90% of the room got up, including my mother's sister. I guess I've said that to everybody. But I said, you got to understand, though. He says, well, isn't that a sexist comment? I said, no, it's different for gay people. I said, no. In every episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, RuPaul asks for charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. What do you think that is? So it's different when we say that.
well, I always like to say it's different if you're pagan, because we know that the root word of that comes from the goddess Kunti, who birthed the entire universe from her yoni, Hindu goddess, and that's where that word comes from. The other word, the B word, was also the name for a goddess, and you need to reclaim them. Those
No.
were
Listen.
weird goddesses.
Caitlin, listen. So our store manager goes, not me. I might be the only one left. No,
Hey.
no. Listen. So no. I don't call employees that. I would have been sued. I've never called an employee that. In fact, they asked me if I'd called this other employee that. And I said, no, just the contract. And it was an out of work situation in which I did it anyway. It had nothing to do with that. But first of all, the only thing I'd ever call,
Oh.
everybody needs a Calum. Um, but yeah, no, this has been insane. Oh, that's the other thing. So the person that is out there calling me a racist right now comes by my shop.
Oh,
Just don't say names. So the person out there calling me a racist right now, excuse me, because I made you better be at a powwow ignoring me. Um, so that person who is saying that they're terrified and afraid of me comes by my store on Saturday, walks across the street, yells over to Kaylin and says hello. She just ignored him and pointed out that he had sent 14 black women, Christian witches. They were all black women, Christian witches, into Hex and Omen, and they spent all kinds of money. So if you think I'm a racist, hey, why? If you're afraid of me, why are you coming near my store? And if you think I'm a racist, why are you sending 14 black women into my store to spend all kinds of money?
yeah.
Uh,
What was that all about?
It was all about my curiosity.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, if I think you're a racist, I'm not bringing people into your store. If I'm afraid of you, I'm not going near you.
Hmm.
Like, I don't understand the crazy of some of these people I'm dealing with. But my
Yeah.
favorite thing about all of it, frankly, is that Amarella Moon has gone from publicly accusing me of calling ICE on a Latino author to actually supporting the person who called ICE on that Latino author.
yeah.
Like that's the level of crazy I deal with. And she's absolutely doing it. It will come out it will come out that what I am telling is the truth. It will. I mean, first of all, I have a.
Uh-oh.
Live paused. What'd you do, Christian? That looks like he paused it. He hit something.
Okay.
There you go. Oh, you're back. Wait.
Okay, I had to my because I apparently ate too much carbs. My little Dexcom monitor on my arm keeps telling me, that my sugar is too high. So anyhow, sorry.
Carbs.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. The point is, she's supporting the person who called ICE on Elohim Lafar. Like, it's just so bizarre. And, and the other thing is she's pushing this weird public statement that was made against me, which is made up of these, she claims that most of modern Wicca. Oh my God, these people how do I put this on?
What'd you do now?
I had to put it on Do Not Disturb because people keep texting me. Kaylin, can you text Carlos and tell him I'm on a
This
live?
happened when I was live yesterday, and Christian Day.
Kaylin, can you hear me?
Yeah, she hears you.
All right.
She said,
Kaylin, please call Carlos and tell him I'm on a live because he won't stop trying to get through. So anyway,
"You're a witch, hey."
Oh, yeah, Spirit Witch. So, yes, I did take what Nikki said because it was two timed or timed, whatever, I'm trying to find the right phrase. It was kind of doubled up with this Yaya person going, Spirit Witch apologized, which I love how you're on here, Spirit Witch, but you don't answer my messages. Like, I'm trying to find out what this apology thing was about. And because it didn't sound to me like she ever said she was in the wrong. And I absolutely think that a black woman weaponizing her 4 million followers to rile up against this cause of racism that wasn't racism hurts actual black women. My mother was raped. My mother was graped and almost murdered and almost metered. My mother was scraped and almost metered in 1985 and hit in the ocular regions with a grappling hook. I don't even know what I can say on here. Her tibia was fracturated. Oh, you know what you can do? You can talk like they talk in that musical Wicked. You know how they make up these words in Wicked? But anyway, these horrible things happened to my poor mother in 1985. And a restraining order did not help her. And in the 39 years since she was scraped and nearly metered and so on and so forth, I have yet to see anything that has convinced me of the value of falsely accusing people of rape, of racism, Reese's Piecesism, of transphobia, or homogeneity, phobia. I mean, I don't even know. I'm just going to come up with my whole language for this platform.
We need to do a pre-class.
What's one of the words? I know one of the words in Wicked was disgustification. Like, I'm just going to be like, and I don't mean to make light of my mother's grape and, near meter, but it bothered me that the restraining order that she got didn't help her. And I developed an intrinsic hatred over that 39 years for people that make things up. So when people say, they're racist and they're transphobe and they're, every time a guy, can you say gay? Every time a homosexual bleak man goes in and says, I was goo bashed, then they're going to compare that person to Juicy Smollett. So the problem with Juicy Smollett is that when you do this sort of thing, it's the future victims that pay the price. So
Yes.
you person listening to this, like Amarella, might think you're scoring a quick cheap shot against somebody you don't like. All you're essentially doing is burning the champagne. Um, that was the penny. If the champagne's too burn for your taste, Miss Devereaux, don't drink it. The caviar, I trust, is not burned.
Yes, like crying wolf. Exactly, Jim. Yeah.
Right. So, no, I'm never going to let this go. You know what? I hate cancel culture so much that when that Jade Saw Luna pulled out because he got bullied, at first I decided I need to bring somebody onto the, because remember, WitchCon was created because of the bullying. I don't know if you know this,
Of-
but
No,
back in,
I don't
okay,
know.
back in,
No, not
okay,
at
no,
all. We
listen,
never talked.
listen, let me tell the story, please. So
Okay, go ahead.
back in 2020, I said I didn't think they should give Pimberty Blackers. I said that Pimberty Blackers should not be given to gay or lesbian children. I said I wasn't necessarily against Penumberty Blickers, but that Penumberty Blickers should not be given to um, gray children and lesbians because, well, I don't know how much the AI looks at.
This
I
is
don't
great.
know.
No, this is
Yeah,
epic.
But the
You
pu
keep going.
but the Penumberty Blickers, and I said I don't think, and this was based on information I was seeing in what the hell is it, in the United Kingdom, not here. And I said, look at this Tavistock clinic. I said this, and now they got this CAS report 4 years later saying 85% of people that are no longer trans said they were gay or lesbian. So, yes, I think that if you're already a confused gay or lesbian child, saying to your child, oh, honey, aren't you just a little girl? No, I think it's wrong. I thought it was wrong then. I think it's wrong now. And so, they decided that made me this grand transphobe, toonphobe, to and fro. I was a to and fro, a to and fro. Anyway, I'm enjoying this. So, anywho, so the to and fro. And so they started this whole campaign against me. And that Laura O'Brien and, what was it, Ireland, uh, three-toned Lilith Dorsey and made all these stipulations against her. And I was so upset. I said, well, if they're going to bully my 15 Hexfest presenters, what if I give them 100 presenters? Let them try and bully that. And hence WitchCon was born, which I sold 536 tickets to this, last February. Excuse me.
Um,
What?
I got to say to you something about this and the cancel culture. Because out here on TikTok, they've been trying to cancel Bree. Isn't even on TikTok these days because of the shit you all did to her out here. So, if you're ever looking for somebody, give a platform because somebody trying to cancel her, my friend Bree. I'm just
Well,
throwing it out.
I had her at WitchCon. I don't think
I
she's there.
know,
I
I
don't
know,
think
but
she's there. I had a lot of.
she wanted to go.
I
She
had
did
a.
apply.
No, no. Listen to me. I had 154
Yeah.
because I opened it up to the public, and I had 154 people sign up for 120 slots, so I couldn't put everybody. But I certainly.
Drops out,
But
people.
here's the thing. Look, I don't care. At the end of the day, I think the cancel culture is crap. Have a conversation. And you know what? I actually stood against neo-Nazis in a shop in downtown Salem. People that were selling the actual neat soy, um, you know, uh, soy milk, whatever you want to call it, uh, neo neat soys in the downtown of Salem, and I tried to rally the social justice people. They didn't care. I tried to rally some black activists. They said these are white people's problems. No one cared. Literally, they were selling the books of people on the Southern Poverty Law Center's list of hate groups. No one cared. So when it comes to actual neo-Neetsoids, these people don't care. They don't care about neat soys. when you hear a leftist nowadays call somebody a Nietzsche, they're talking about somebody that's like 90% left and not 100% left. They very rarely actually go up against the real Nietzsche's because they're afraid. It's easier for them to go up against somebody that's closer to them than someone that isn't.
Well, hey,
And I found that out the hard way when I myself went up to actual neo-Nietzsche's.
well, here's one. They tried to brand me a Nietzsche on TikTok. That one was funny as hell. Because of all the skinheads that have met the bottom of my boot.
You make me look like, I mean, you're too freaking left for me. I think you're both loony left. But
That's
the
why I should be your counterbalance thing. You know, who's that slut?
like, wait, we would offend the
That
universe.
other guy. Nobody's ever heard of that other
Well,
guy.
here's the thing. So
Yeah,
I
he's
sat there.
that's the
So
thing.
basically, these
That's the
people
thing.
convinced Jade Saul Luna to pull up, and he was a Hecatean priest who believes that Kali is merely a visage of Hecate. Now, I love me some Hecate, but I would not offend Miss Kali and tell Miss Kali, oh, by the way, Kali, you're just another face of Hecate. I would be afraid.
Wouldn't do that
Either
either.
one of them
I
wouldn't
would
offend.
be afraid to tell Hecate, you're just another face of Kali. I would not insult either of these ladies. I wouldn't do it.
Maybe
And
that's why we call her.
and Jade Saul Luna is also a Luciferian. You know, he's a theistic Satanist. I said to him, I said, wait a minute here. You're sucking the devil's kook, cluck, prosthetic. You're sucking the devil's prosthetic, and you're going to jump off the ship at the slightest breeze?
Yeah.
He's a punk.
Okay, so I first said, you know what? I'm going to bring somebody so offensive at least 10 people jump off of this WitchCon entirely. I'm going to get the Asa true racists. Of course, I couldn't do that because I hate everything they stand for. I actually said this on the Hera show, whatever it's at the Zeus and Hera show. I did consider it for all of 5 seconds, but I can't get behind someone I don't like. So, am I not here?
No,
You're here.
Oh, so anyway, I said, well, who can I agree with that I like might disagree with half of what that person believes? And I thought, well, what about Z Budapest? You know, she has cis women only covens, and you know, I wouldn't be part of a cis woman only coven.
Yeah.
I just had to do a verification.
Well, let me wait until he's back because I feel like my host is not here. So hold.
No, I'm here. I had to verify that I wasn't a robot just now.
All right. Well, let me know when you're back in the game.
I'm back. Go
All right.
ahead.
So anyway, I do love my attention. So
Really?
no. So, and
Really?
mind you, I think I said the most misogynistic thing that anyone has ever said to the mother of feminist spirituality. So I thought, oh, she's going to hate me. There's no way she's going to, you know, and I had to apologize profusely. And I was kind of mean. I mean, we kind of had our words years and years ago. And she messages me and she says, my witches are upset I'm presenting for you. But I told them the spirits have worked you over and you're not the dick you used to be. Well, I'm maybe half the dick I used to be. I'm not half the dick I used to be.
You don't like dick, okay? Then go ahead.
What is that sound?
I don't know. That's
Brian, what is that? Brian! I'm on a live. Brian! Well, he's playing some tuba or something.
Tuba.
Like, I'm on a live here.
Well, I got to say, I hate Z Budapest, but I'm not going to be opposed that she's on the same bill with me. When I'm on stage, it's my
I
stage.
love her simply because she was part of the magic of all of this. So literally, after just literally 10 years of her hating, more, 12 years of her hating me, she agreed to do the event. People loved her. People loved her. And guess what? No one pulled out. I had 2 trans women presenting at WitchCon, and I had Z Budapest presenting at WitchCon. Nobody had a problem. Everybody got along. and remember, I told you before, a little bit ago, that my goal was to get 10 people to pull out of
Yeah.
WitchCon so that I would know that the people standing with me the following year really wanted to be there. That was why I wanted to get someone as controversial as Z Budapest, who's still not as controversial as me. But, well, maybe.
I,
Um,
I should use this segue right here to remind you people that our podcast Wittersons is coming back this Wednesday at 2 p.m. You can see it on YouTube and my two Facebook pages, our Wittersons Facebook page and my Facebook page. And a lot of Wittersons is born on this kind of thing. Christian introducing us to people that people are trying to cancel, and then they become our favorite guests on Wittersons. We have them on. I'm not going to have Z Budapest on.
you should.
But
Oh, my God. She's a great guest. I've had her on my radio. No, she's so much fun. Like, say whatever you want, but that woman is fun, and she paved the way. She predated Starhawk. She predated all of it.
I
She
know.
has had.
Well, listen.
Oh,
Budapest came out of Santa Cruz. That's me and Marta's hometown where we met. The entire goddess spirituality movement came out of Santa Cruz. Sage Woman was printed in Santa Cruz. Totally familiar. But back in the day, we male witches had a gentleman's agreement. Is look, these women have suffered greatly under the patriarchy and they're reclaiming their power, and as such, we're going to have to take some shit. They're going to say horrific things about us, and we're going to take it, and we're going to let that go. Now, good couple decades, I did that, but I think we're beyond that. I think it's time to recognize that.
okay. Here's the thing. Steve Budapest has actually.
You let me finish, mister. I let you finish. So, back in the day, I can count on one hand the number of my sisters that came to our defense when Z Budapest called us a lower species of life that should be eradicated from the planet. So I am beyond those days and now calling that shit out. I hate me some Z Budapest, but it doesn't matter if she's on the same bill
And
as
how long ago was this?
mine when the stage is
When you're done filibustering, how long ago was this?
80s.
Okay, she initiated someone into the Dianic tradition in Brazil. She presents at an event run by men.
Well, I was at the event where Z Budapest became a transphobe, and we didn't even really understand why there was people marching through the hallways singing, "We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return," in such an aggressive way. And it was a protest, apparently, from what Z
My
Budapest.
favorite thing that Lori Bruno ever said, and I believe she got it from Leo Martello, that Leo Martello was in a circle with a bunch of people he didn't like, and they were all chanting, "We all come from the goddess," and Leo Martello yelled out, "And she should have had an abortion."
That's Leo. I believe
My
that's
point is, you're talking
Oh,
about.
Joe. Yeah. Is the door closed? Sorry.
You're talking about something that happened in the 80s. People do.
Well, the thing I just talked about happened in the 2000s.
Well, first of all, what does that have to do with men?
What's that?
I know about the thing that happened in 2011, but I don't fully disagree with it. I disagreed with it on a different ground. Like, one of the people that led the ritual that you're talking about was Yesha Matthews, who I believe you might have had on your show.
I believe so.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then if you're going to criticize Z for that, you probably shouldn't have had her on your show. Because
my point is that I don't care. People have given me a hard time about being at events where TERFs present. And the thing I say every time, it's my stage. I'm on that stage, I rock that shit. One year they put me right next to the vending hall, and so they gave me a mic with a PA system. You should have seen that fucking workshop. I worked that fucking mic. Don't you give me a mic again. I was running up and down the aisles like Jerry fucking Springer, sticking mics in people's fucking faces. It's my fucking stage. I
Whatever
don't
that
care.
is piercing
Where's the
my
stage?
ears like the most miserable
You can be
sound
heard.
that ever existed on the face of the earth. Is there any way to silence it?
What, the crows?
Oh, is that what that is?
How long ago? Yeah.
Oh, I
I,
don't know if
I, I befriended two crows last year, and this year they've returned with their entire family. And now they live they live in our tree, shitting on our umbrella, apparently. And I have to give them food. That's my job. So.
well, anywho, I called, sorry, I called, God, you're running a zoo over there. I,
It's
Stop.
a jungle.
Mojo, shut up.
Azzy, come.
Sorry.
The crows are not going to stop. You're going to have to work
Yeah,
past
the
it, man.
crows aren't going to stop.
so I called Yesha when all that went down at PantheaCon, and I said, I don't have a problem with you and Z doing a cis woman only ritual. The problem I have is that at PantheaCon, people are paying their money to get in and should get to see everything. So it was more of a business thing for me. Like, in other words, I would never allow a black only, a cis woman only, a trans only, a gay only, or any sort of only anything at Hexfest or WitchCon. I wouldn't allow it. I don't believe in it. I think that it's divisive. And so, you can tell me all about safe spaces all you want, and I'm going to tell you magic is not a safe space. Magic is confrontational. Magic is dangerous. Magic forces us to look into the darkest parts of our souls and of the world around us. I don't want to hear about safe space. Sorry, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But all I ask you to do is understand that people do evolve. You know what I mean? Like, we're not the same people we were in the 80s.
Well, has she changed her perspective on us being a low species of life to be eradicated from the planet? I missed that.
Well, given that she came on my show in 2009, that I've had numerous conversations, that she actually initiated a man into the Dianic tradition, which sent other Dianic priestesses into apoplectic fits, in Brazil, yes, I would think she's absolutely changed.
He has a son, so I'm sure
I
she's
figured
changed.
that'd have
She has a
some
son.
effect on her.
Yeah.
I always worried about
I'm
the
just saying,
son.
people, but it's not about her. Nobody's the same person they were. We all have our evolutions. I'm sure I would hate myself from 20 years ago. Well, maybe not.
So, Christian, Hexfest is coming. We should talk about that.
Hopefully. I don't even know if I'll be able to go.
Oh, stop.
Yes, you will.
Ridiculous. You are hundreds of feet at the Bourbon Hotel.
No. Nope. I will be in Salem for 18 months if that's what it takes. Will never give someone that power over me, never.
Spirit Witch can't wait for Hexfest. What do you teach? Well, you're teaching at Hexfest.
Spirit Witch?
No, you.
Oh.
Well, not if I may not be, is my point.
Yes, you are. Stop.
Not necessarily. Well, I guess Drunkle Oracle, she couldn't handle me.
We can't have Hexfest without you singing the Marie Laveau
We
song.
will just
Yeah.
don't talk about it.
I mean, that's got to happen. It's not Hexfest if
Don't
you don't
talk
sing the
about it.
Marie Laveau song.
Yeah.
But the Spirit Witch just said it. I'm agreeing with it.
What's it? So that drunken person had to leave because I was here, but now she's back.
Oh, the
See,
drunken oracle.
They can't stay away.
So remember last year when I mentioned that somebody came to Hexfest to fight Bree?
Yes.
That was Drunken Oracle. We've come a long way in a year and have made some peace. So I don't really have a problem with Drunken Oracle at this time.
I'd have a problem with that.
a year ago, yeah, it was a big problem, and it wasn't your problem. So
Oh,
I,
well, thank God you didn't tell me because it would have
well,
been her
exactly,
problem.
I handled the problem.
That would have been. Ooh,
It's the same way I do with my wife. I tell her about the problem after I resolve the problem. There's no point in telling her the problem when there's still a problem. It's not
Well,
going
I
to be
mean,
good. I told you about the problem after the problem.
I told Jason Mankey because he was one of the people that protested against Z and Yesha Matthews at PantheaCon, and he told me there was a whole group of them in the hallway of the hotel, and I said I would have had the police. Like I wouldn't have tolerated this person coming near Fabri. I would have had the cops.
Yeah,
Like I have a zero tolerance policy for that kind of
yeah.
crap. I won't allow it. Like, it's sort of like the girl that came on the video, Nikki, or whatever, where you can't handle being checked. I'm like, first of all, none of us can. This is this illusion that social media gives everyone that somehow they have the power to check people. You don't have the power to check me, and I don't have the power to check you. Let me tell you a story. In 2012, my niece was in a drunk driving accident where the passenger died. I gave her $5,000 for her legal defense. My best friend Lorelai and I supported her through this time. And so the mother of the kid that died, was upset that we had given the lawyer, the money to the lawyer. We were filming a sizzle reel for TLC Network. And the cameramen were just packing up to go home when all of a sudden I noticed these protesters out in front of Crowhaven Corner, which is owned by my best friend Lorelai. And they were handing out Mothers Against Drunk Driving ribbons. And they had put these little flyers under all the windshield wipers throughout the downtown, including both parking garages, that the owners of Hex, Omen, and Crowhaven Corner were financing a murderer's legal fees. All right? Now, mind you, me being me and trying to sell a show to TLC, I'm like, why aren't you filming this? This is the best. This is the TV they want. This is great. I'm like, I didn't care that they were protesting. It was like, I want to get this on film. This is going to sell the show. And Mothers Against Drunk Driving, they actually sent cease and desist to these people, but they came prepared. It wasn't just like 10 mothers. There were like 15 little girls, all little girls with pigtails and blonde hair. They looked like rejects from the cast of The Sound of Music. And they were out there handing out these Mothers Against Drunk Driving, right? So then I head on down to Omen, because I guess, thank you, unions. If there's any reason I'm against unions at times, it's because it was the union that kept these poor little cameras from turning back on. Screwed my chance at a show. So anyway, I go back down to Omen, and I'm sitting in one of the reader booths in the window, and I see the little girls out in front of Omen, handing the little Mothers Against Drunk Driving ribbons out to anybody wanting to come in and get a reading. So any ladies wanting to come in and get a reading at Omen, the little girl with the pigtails would look up and hand a woman a Mothers Against Drunk Driving ribbon and say, "Don't go in there. They helped the person kill my Uncle Dylan. They're murderers. They're this, they're that." Let me ask you, Birch, how many of these people looking for psychic readings do you think decided not to come in to Omen because of this protest? You're the first person to ever guess zero. Most people only say 2 or 3. You guessed correctly. People coming in for a psychic reading, they want to get paid or they want to get laid. And anything that stands in the way of that is an enemy. And this is going to be the very antithesis of misogyny, because I think women are very strong beings. I think they're stronger than we men. And I think when women decide they want a reading, or they want, let's say a woman wants an abortion, do you think all those people preaching Jesus on the sidewalk are going to stop a strong woman from doing what she wants to do? No. Not one person didn't come in for a reading. The point I'm making in all this is I know Amarillo's out there hoping that all my supporters see that I made some comment about Bernie Busters and abortion. Oh my God, he'll lose every. First of all, 90% of my customers don't know who I am. They're not supporters or not supporters. They're tourists walking down the street, they want a reading. I would venture to say 60% of the people that go to my witches' ball don't know who I am. I do spend most of the evening getting my picture taken with people, but the vast majority of them they don't know me as I'm walking through the room. Once in a while I'll get, "Are you the guy that runs this?" I get that. They want to get paid or they want to get laid. And they're going to get a reading no matter what. So to quote my best friend Sean Poirier, as long as there are muggles in an October in Salem, I and my husband are set for life. You can't cancel us. But here's the great thing about that. What I say is what I mean. So if I actually were a racist, I wouldn't have to hide it. If I hated women, I wouldn't have to hide it. If I hated trans people, I wouldn't have to hide it. Because there's literally a neo-Neetsoy shop in the middle of downtown Salem with lines down the street every single October. The fact that they're neo-Nazis, the fact that they follow a man that stood in the middle of the Charlottesville protests, Stephen McNallen, holding a tiki torch, the fact that they were selling books by that person, the fact that they are friends with that person, still got lines down the street. Haven't been able to stop them. Vice magazine did a write-up on them. Haven't been able to stop them. Essentially, you can't cancel me. So you just have to either accept me or avoid me. I am, the line from Thanos, inevitable. Either way, I'm here. And until I die, which is funny because Ed Hubbard is the only, because he was calling for my Deeth, is it Dooth? On a live thing, Ed Hubbard was calling for my unaliving last week, saying the only way you'll get rid of me is the oath of my demise and me being in a box. I will give this to Mr. Hubbard. He's the only one that gets it. He's the only one in that whole community of haters of mine. He is the only one of my haters that truly understands how inevitable.
Ed Hubbard's mad at me for
Oh, I can't stand him, but he at least
Ed
gets it.
Hubbard. Well, he's mad at me because I said that the Corellians stole my
Hey,
name. Hey, don't bark at the fucking crows,
stop it.
asshole. So I gotta say something really quick here. Hexfest is coming. And as I tried to plug it earlier, and then Christian did not take the bait. The 9th to the 11th
Yeah.
of August. It's coming. You got to go over there to hexfest.com. I don't have time to read you the epic list of presenters. It's New Orleans is all witches and voodoo and hoodoo and practitioners and people, and it's 10 times more at Hexfest. We take over this fucking town. You want to come to Hexfest?
I desperately need rest. I need Juvederm. Do you see this is what Juvederm does? You put Juvederm right here, and then it makes it look like this.
What are you yapping about?
Juvederm. Anyway,
Let's go. I got kombucha, man. Reverses process.
No, so anyway, no, Hexfest, I'm sort of sad talking about it because I don't even know if I'm going to be able to be there. I don't want to get in.
You're tripping.
Yeah.
Quit tripping.
But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, in the end, I always win. There's not really much I can do about it. I think that's why Ed Hubbard says the only thing that's going to do me in is a box. Somebody else, one of Amarillo Moon's friends, kind of called for my unaliving too the last couple of days. It's so bizarre. I love that they think they have a chance. That's the amusing part. They actually think they have a chance.
Yeah. Well, I remember the last time they messed with me. I think it was Amarilla Moon and that other person.
She's like,
They were doing it on a page called "Pagans and Witches and Pagans for Spiritual
Is that the
Responsibility."
one where Tide
oh
did
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they,
on
they
there
dug
with
up
the.
some old friend of mine to chime in on there. I still own a page called "Witches and Pagans for Spiritual Responsibility," where I stole their graphic, I stole their format. Um, that's the kind of thing I tend to do when people do shit like that. I still have people joining that page. I
Yep.
should start posting on that
I
page
just
Unity of
again.
Wicca.
That's a, I
Yeah,
mean,
Unity.
nobody, no one likes to be trashed, and it certainly comes along with being a public figure. I don't, my feelings get hurt at times when I see these things, especially, here's the thing. I don't mind when somebody calls me out for something I did do. Even if, like, even the comments I made to Amarella 10 years ago, like, I took my licks because I did it. So I took my licks. But it just hurt me when people, because I would never believe that someone deserves less in life because of the color of their skin. I support affirmative action. I support some form of reparations. I mean, I believe if you came to me and you said, that we want to legislate that all descendants of slavery here in America receive a 4-year Harvard education, I'd vote for that in 5 seconds. Without question, I think that is absolutely owed. Now, do I think everyone should get a check? Well, not necessarily, because I grew up poor, and anytime my mother got a check, it was spent. But, in education, yes, I absolutely do. So I just, to watch myself be called a racist, to know how much I care about my trans friends, and be called a transphobe, only because I believe in protecting gay children and not pitting one group against another, which some absolutely do. You know what I mean? When I have, uh, you know, well, I'm not going to get in. It's just such a quagmire of an issue. But the Jim says I'm going to call you out and tell you to watch that blood sugar. I did
Right.
have pancakes.
Oh man, pancakes.
What?
You at least skip the syrup.
No,
Ah.
no,
Mm.
no. I definitely don't eat well when I'm stressed, and this has been very stressful. But I spoke to the Voodoo Bone Lady today, and and I've spoken to a number of shop owners, and I can say I'm not the only shop that's been dealing with this particular trouble we're not going to name. I'm not, and
Yeah.
I've been getting quite the earful. So
So,
I think that the truth will out and time will out. You know what I mean? You just sometimes you have to wait it out and realize, oh, this is funny. The spirit which just said, if anything happens to Christian, we'll keep him alive with AI. I'm not sure AI could even replicate this.
so isn't the bone lady the one that's shooting her husband or her
Twice, I
boyfriend
think.
or something?
Twice she shot him.
I don't know. Look, I'm not getting into her personal things. I don't know her. She's always been nice to me. I run the
She
biggest,
arrested for shooting her boyfriend.
Carlos and I run one of the biggest Facebook groups for New Orleans tour guides and companies, and we don't allow anybody to say anything negative about any company or tour guide in there. And she knows that. She's always nice to me. I don't know what happens in people's personal lives. Maybe he said something she didn't like. I have no idea. Maybe he called her a bad word. I don't know.
I'm
But
just
the
shocked
thing
that
is,
she's out of jail still. I
well,
mean that's twice.
obviously, well, here's the thing. Let me ask you this. With all the things that people have accused me of, why aren't I in jail if not for the fact that I'm innocent? When Lori Cabot was on, I think it was the Donahue show, some Christian said she was running, a baby unaliving cult of, whatever, that she was part of a satanic cult of baby unaliving, sacrificial uh, moiter. And Lori said, then why aren't I in jail? There's a valid question. If I'm guilty of all these things, why aren't I in jail? If she's guilty of all these things, why isn't she in jail? It sort of does beg the question, how much of this is rumor how much of this you find out there was more to the story and then it doesn't go anywhere. I don't know. At the end of the day, every time I have come near this woman, she has been nice to me.
Yeah, there's obviously more
Hi,
to the
Colin. I'll have to
story.
call her back. Um, I'm just saying, I have had so many things made up about me. You know, I was called a Kenny Klein defender, which was horrifying because I hated Kenny Klein. But what I had said at the time was, I just think we should wait until he's found guilty. Because I have had so many things thrown at me that are untrue that I'm reticent to believe anything. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I remember somebody saying that you essayed a woman. It's like, he's gay as fuck. What are you talking about?
oh yeah, well, my favorite was being called a womanizer. Womanizer, womanizer. I mean, like,
Yeah. Womanizer. Yeah, he doesn't like to pee.
I
He
mean,
likes to dig.
literally, Amarella, womanizer woman, I think, or Mari Lee Ray or whatever, womanizer woman, Amarella, and that Shauna Knight, the biggest dumpster fire in all of paganism, um, came up with this theory that Weiser and Llewellyn force all their authors by contract to present at my events. And the best part was Chaz Bogan, Storm Fairy-Wolf, and John Beckett, all Llewellyn authors, liked this post of Amarella's saying that I force authors to present. Now, they're all Llewellyn authors. Wouldn't they know that they're not required to present at my event by contract? So why would these three Llewellyn authors like a post from Amarella saying that they're forced to present at my event when they know that they're not? I
That's
mean, the level.
that takes us back to the beginning of the show where we talked about people doing fake ass shit on their enemies, even if it's based on a lie. It's like we
Well,
know they don't like you, and they jumped on that because it's a lie that
well,
looks
but
like it'll hurt you, but it's a fucking lie.
but here's the great thing about that. In 2002, a very prominent, person named Jody decided to tell half of Salem I was a child militia,
Yeah.
malusier, a kitty malicier,
Uh,
or
yeah.
whatever. I started out with the very worst accusation one can start out with. And I very quickly learned that 22 years ago that the hyperbole of your enemies is both your sharpest sword and strongest shield. Because when they hear, oh, he's a grapist and he's an essayer and he's a this and a that and the other, and then they find out that you're just to see you next Tuesday, that you're nothing but a bitchy figot with an anger management problem, or as my husband says, my only great crime is that I'm rude. When they hear all of the hyperbole and then they find out the truth, they realize that they were duped, and then they end up becoming my friend. I have made more friends because people have told these lies about me. Amarella wonders how people can still support me because, unlike you, Amanda, they've actually researched that 99% of these things are lies, and the ones that aren't are always things I didn't start. I didn't start that thing in 2014 either.
Well, have you ever noticed that these people that attack you are the most miserable fucking people on the face of the planet?
Well,
Like the
that makes sense.
anything. I mean, she's just miserable, and
Yes.
lashing out on you.
Hold on. I want to show you why.
Right now, your camera's not on. Whatever you did, we
Wait a
can't.
minute. Hold on. Okay.
Oh,
This is why.
you're fucking
I,
forward. No, we
okay.
know.
Look at the beauty. Look at that. Look at the Aphrodite over there. It's a little mess. Look, it's a holiday, so the pool guy didn't come today. But and these are all reclaimed bricks from England. Um, so yes, of course, the most miserable people. I represent everything these people. Hold on. Why can I not switch this over? Okay. Here's the bottom line. I represent everything that some of these people spend their whole lives selling love and money potions on Etsy for. And instead of coming to me and saying, Christian, how did you make this success real? What work did you do? What magic did you do? What gods did you serve? What people did you help along the way? Instead of asking those questions, they just try to take it because they feel that it's easier to bring me down to their level than it is to elevate to mine. There is no greater, simpler truth than that. Now, the fact that I'm a little bit of a bitch makes it, obviously that's my contribution to the mix, that I make it a little easier to dislike me at times, but it really boils down to jealousy. It always has.
Okay, my turn to talk for a minute, because we're gonna have to go pretty soon. I've said this a million times. He's the most successful person in our industry. And if you're not a dick, he will not stop giving you fucking advice on how to get there. He's not holding it over anybody's head. I'm more successful than you. Just don't be a dick. He'll tell you how to do it. Now, once I figure out how to implement, several of the things that he suggested, like not having to spell Witchskewl, it'll help me out a lot. Now, this man, I came here to HexFest. I taught one time, 3 classes. Met him briefly before the event. Met him briefly at his after party. We tried to fucking move here. He found out. He insisted on helping us find the fucking house. The advice that he gave us to find this fucking house is the foundation of our fucking house search. And a matter of fact, he picked this fucking house. And first thing he told me, and it's like he's telling me this, like, no, I want to help. It's like, dude, I barely know you. I would not expect that in a million fucking years from the relationship that we had at that fucking time. And this motherfucker went out of his fucking busy way to fucking go around, to show up at fucking houses, look at fucking houses with us, show us around the fucking town, all this shit. I was a stranger. We kind of knew each other on the internet before that, and I taught at HexFest one fucking time. Now, maybe that's why I defend this guy when all of you guys are dicks, because you just don't fucking know. And I keep telling these same fucking stories, and you all just need to fucking listen to somebody that actually knows the person that you're talking about. You all have heard about the rumors, and you run with fucking rumors. I know you do it to me too, but basically, just don't be a dick.
And send me some money for Juvederm. No, I mean, here's the thing. I'm trying to do the same thing for Shannon Doust right now. The Dark Candles lady. She's trying to find a house down here. So I've sent her so many things. Here's the thing. I believe that you must pay the blessings forward in life. Like, that's not just kindness. It's a foundational belief of my ethics. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, I feel like if the spirits have blessed me, that I owe it to the next guy and girl and they, them, or whoever else, that I pay this forward. And I believe that, it's a fundamental to who I am. So it's my husband has said to me before, Christian, I hear you give people the advice that we live by on the phone, and then they often try to do the opposite, thinking you try to mislead them or something. I never give bad advice, well, unless I don't know it's bad. Like, I never intentionally try to mislead somebody. If I don't want to help somebody, I just don't. But when I do, it's always sincere, like everything else.
And then you took us out for beignets.
Yeah. Showed us the town, taught me how that I had to make a sacrifice to the river so the river would accept us to the town, all that shit.
Well, I will say,
we had to walk behind him so his cape could flap in the wind. But
not understanding the nature of this city or any place, frankly, is a detriment to one's magical success that I have seen so many times in my 37 years in the magical community in Salem and my 12 years in the magical community here. You know, I watch these people come and go constantly. And the one thing they all have in common is they've never truly respected the space itself. You know, when I've had reality show producers say, you know, I don't get so much anymore, but back in the day, I constantly get pursued for these shows, and they would say, you're going to be the main character. And I'd say, no, Salem is the main character, or New Orleans is the main character. And when they don't know that, they are very quickly chewed up and spit out. Must understand the place. And when they don't, doesn't end well.
Hmm.
Doesn't end well.
I'm just, without naming names, those other people, did you show them around town? Did you take them to the river? Good, good, good.
There
'Cause
was
that's,
always this sort of, I was the last person to jump off the Love Fest train for them. I think, you know, you and Marta, a lot of you, you know, I was accused of ending all these friendships with them, when in reality, I think Shannon Doust and I were the last people to jump off that train. But there was always this filter, you know, that just warned me that something's not quite right. I mean, Penny Cabot was warning me for over a year, and I didn't listen. You know, my husband was on at Hexfest, you know, and I just didn't see fully, or I didn't allow myself. But I also didn't. I was never fully there. There was always something kind of saying, you know, when someone tells me the reason they want to do a competing festival, when, you know, Hexfest is my one non-profitable thing. You know, we always said we would do it even if it was 20,000 in the red. 2 years ago, it was 20,000 in the red. Last year, it was 2,000 in the red. It was profitable before COVID, but we're all recovering. When I said, why would you want to do a competing festival? Why don't you do a witch's ball or something that might make money? Why would you do a competing festival? And the answer I get is street cred.
yeah.
Street cred. I've never done anything for street cred. I mean, clearly, I don't generally care what people think of me. So, like, why would I be caring
No,
about?
you have to do stuff for street cred? Who the fuck knew?
Yeah,
Damn.
I haven't never done anything for street cred. I never cared.
I mean,
What Sean and
only
I in
I think
2000, no, no, in 2002 when we did the Witches Ball, this was my entry into the occult industry. Sean and I looked at each other and said, we want to create things that we would want to go to. And this sort of ties to Beatrix Botany's question, what is the name of Christian Salem Festival? In 2003, after a successful Witches Ball, Sean and I were leafing through the Haunted Happenings magazine. And he said, Christian, it's nothing but corn husks and dog shows. There's nothing for the tourists. And so we said, why don't we create Festival of the Dead? And let's create something that we would want to go to. You know, so we have a dumb supper that sells out every year. We have a witch's ball that sells out every year, a 31-day psychic fair. Witch Doctor Utu is doing his graveyard magic, I think it's called, class. You know, we shake it up every, you know, different years. We have different events. We have a thing called the morning tea as part of Festival of the Dead, whereas like a dumb supper is sitting in silence for the dead. You know, the morning of the day that we do the dumb supper at night, my niece Angel does the morning tea, Mourning, and that's, whereas the dumb supper is silence for the dead, the morning tea is sharing stories of the dead, so people get up. You know, they might share unaliving notes. I don't know what you'd call solitude. How can you suicide? Um, I don't know, but whatever. You know, notes that people have written. You know, stories of their loved ones that have passed on. And so, you know, the goal was always, and with success with everything else, is to create things that we would want to do. It was never about street cred. It was never about money. It was about what would we want to go to if Sean and I were roaming around New York City and saw a flyer on a pole and said, this is happening, and we'd be like, yeah, that has driven every decision I've ever made. It is why Hex as a shop fits a very particular concept, while Omen as a shop fits a very particular concept. I don't fill it with stickers and magnets and tchotchkes and junk. I don't have yarn-headed voodoo dolls that with cowboy hats. I don't have even the T-shirts I have magical sigils and symbols. Like everything is about living a life of magic because that is what I was put upon this earth to do. As simple as that.
Right. Well, we should go. I gotta get dad stuff and husband stuff and get Marta a drink.
And I got to call Lori Cabot back because you know when the Queen calls.
This will be on YouTube because we have no violations. As long as I get out here in the next couple seconds without any violation, I'll be able to post this on YouTube. So again, HexFest, August 9th through the 11th. It's coming up. Widdershins will be starting our broadcast on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Central Time. Be our first of the people presenting at HexFest that we're going to interview, and then we don't really have a schedule, so you're going to have to follow us on Facebook, on the Widdershins page. Follow me at Michael Carell. Follow me at Uncle Birch on YouTube, because we're going to do as many broadcasts as possible whenever we can leading up to HexFest. It's kind of a marathon, so might be a couple broadcasts a day, might be every day, but you need to follow, or you just are going to miss out. Okay?
Well, I apologize again for misunderstanding your format and sort of offending you again.
Oh, I'm sure you'll do it again, but
many times. I love you both. Have a wonderful, wonderful day to all.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. Blessed be you all. As our ancestors used to say, to remind us of the troubled times through which we came and the troubled times through which we will hopefully keep coming through. Merry meets. Merry part. Merry meet again, y'all. Boom.